Hi there. My name is David Brady. Thank you for joining me for a few minutes here. I'll try not to exceed 10. So, as I mentioned in my first video on the book Survival Transforming Childhood Trauma, I wrote 3 books in total. I wrote Survival Transforming Childhood Trauma, based on my experience as a very young boy of surviving an attempted murder on me by my dad with my mother. And Success really chronicles the journey that I would end up going on trying to prove internally. I don't know about you, but I felt this need to somehow prove I was okay, because why would someone want to do to me what they did to me as a 12-year-old, attempt to murder me with a 12-gauge shotgun, especially when your father was a respected member of the community, and because he suffered from alcoholism, when he was drinking, he went from being a very rational, kind, loving human being who was very spiritual and religious to a complete lunatic. So in Survival, I cover that area. In Success, I talk about my journey coming to realize, I used to think that, my God, if I got the right woman, the right house, the right car, if I had the right career, if I had the right degrees, and behind me on my wall and here, and this one up there is my master's degree. I attended college, I attended undergraduate and graduate school. I just did so much. Right. And this thing you can't tell because it's backwards. Behind me is a film that I did called The Gray Fox, which was with Francis Ford Coppola's Zoetrope Studios at his zenith, at his height, in between. Really, it came after Apocalypse Now and before The Godfather. And behind me is Yonge Street, which is considered by the critics in Canada to be probably one of the finest documentary series ever done on the history of rock and roll, with Robbie Robertson and the band, David Clayton Thomas with Blood, Sweat and Tears, and just a whole group of really phenomenal musicians. So I also had a chance over on another wall over here is an award for teaching at one of the universities I taught at. So I had an amazing amount of success. And here's what I learned. Success is not all it's cracked up to be when you're just doing it for yourself. And the thing I would ask you to do is look at, what's my motivation for wanting success? Pardon me. If I look at the Bill Gates of the world, the Mark Cubans of the world, if I look at the people who've really made it and made billions of dollars, what do they end up doing? By and large, Warren Buffett, these kind of people become people who care about people. And I think that what they recognize is the pursuit of success for success alone is a very empty experience. I once said, after we were nominated, one year we had been nominated for an Academy Award. The next year we were nominated for the Golden Globes for Best Picture, Best Actor. And I remember saying to a friend, success is not all it's cracked up to be. I didn't feel the way I was told I was going to feel if I had all of these things. And so I was living in Malibu, California. I had a beautiful apartment in Manhattan. I had a home out here in Vancouver, and I had a beautiful house in Toronto. And I was depressed. And I thought, oh my God, like, what's going on here? I've been fed this bill of goods. I've devoted so much energy to being successful. And now I don't feel right. And here's the lesson of the book, Success: Reflections on Money, Sex, and Power. And that's the title of it, Reflections on Money, Sex, and Power. And I chose those 3 subjects because that's the only area in life I've ever had any problems with: relation, money. I never, no matter how much I made, it was never enough, because I was always spending more than I earned. And that went from me there being a couple $1,000s to hundreds of thousands of dollars. To owing millions of dollars, which I did in 1986. I owed $5.2 million, and I never thought I would come out from that. I had 605 lawsuits against me, and what it is that I was a victim of commercial fraud. I had paid for the money in New York City with my great friend and lawyer, Alan Vogler, in New York, and we would end up essentially being conned by a lawyer, another, just a very unkind human being who assured me that we could begin this movie, that would be no problem, the money would be forthcoming once I paid him this, what was called a standby fee. So what that was the turning point of my life, because I ended up having this movie. I should never have finished it, but I went and raised another $750,000 just to finish it. And the truth is, the movie, I'd like to say that it was such a dog, every video should have come with a leash. I won't even bother naming it because I won't embarrass the people who worked so hard on it. But that, what I thought was my greatest defeat, ended up being my greatest victory, ironically. What I learned from this, and what I hope you might learn, is that when we have these moments in life, when we experience these incredible challenges and difficulties, they're always for a reason. When I'm on the right path, when I am following the principles that really are underpinning of true success, that is, where I am being of service. If I want to go out just to make money, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to be very disappointed very quickly. However, if I want to earn money, if you want to earn money, if you want to amass a fortune and use that fortune for the greater good of humanity, you will be guided to riches beyond your own belief. And the key to me of success is, how can I use the gifts that I was given? In my case, I believe in God. My books are spiritual in nature. They're based on the 8 steps of the mastermind. And of course, the greatest mastermind of all was the creator of the concept, in the sense of being successful in life, Napoleon Hill. In his book, Think and Grow Rich, he talks about the importance of a mastermind group. And a mastermind group for you is imperative if you really want to be successful and have your life work out in a way that you could not have imagined it working out. And to have fellow travelers, to have people that you can share with on a human level the journey you're on in such a way that you're empowered to achieve your goals, is what the whole key to the book Success, Reflections of Money, Sex, and Power. If I'm out there in any way abusing money, abusing sex, if I don't use it for the greater good of a relationship, to be intimate and loving, for procreation is up to you, but just for the spiritual content of it, the moment at which two people are able to connect at a very, very spiritual level. If you're just a sex addict, I mean, there's so many of them out there. There are people looking for love, and they want to somehow, they feel if they can have the conquest, well, that's a really losing proposition. And power, I've had power as a president of multiple companies. I've had power as a producer. I've produced, I don't know, somewhere in the vicinity of 130 episodes of primetime drama, comedy. I've done about 60 hours of documentaries. I've had feature films like The Gray Fox behind me. I've had feature films produced with I had the privilege of being one of the executive producer of my friend Alan Sachs's You Wish for the Disney Channel. I've had a chance to meet some of the most remarkable people in the world. And I am so grateful for that opportunity. And that's where the real successes came in. And so what I've learned is that true success is sharing with others what we've learned along the way. And that's why I've written the 3 books I've written. Because it's really much better to give than receive. I always say I spent the first half of my life getting. I'm trying to spend the second half of my life giving. And what I know today is the more I can give it away, the more I get to keep it. And that may sound paradoxical and selfish, but the fact of the matter is that what I know is that the lessons I've learned, and why I love teaching and why I've taught at 3 universities and been very successful with that, is that I really love helping others. And the key to real success in life is being of service. And today I want to be of service more than I want to do anything else. Right now I'm working with a wonderful woman in the United States. She's authored over 90 plus New York Times bestsellers. She has sold somewhere in excess of 200 million books. Her name is Fern Michaels. Her real name is Mary Kusker. And, you know, the work that I'm doing with her, trying to adapt her movies, her books to feature-length episodes for either Amazon or Netflix or whomever I get it to do with. It is my goal to help her to be successful, because this is, I think, in her mind, her legacy. And they're such wonderful stories. They're just amazing. And they're really fun. They're well written. And they have characters that are really relatable to. So that's an area of my life where I see the possibility of real success, but that real success will allow me to be of service to others, to help Mary, to help myself, and to clean up the $5.2 million I lost in In 1986, I'm still paying off, and I hope to get to the last. I'm down to $300,000, for instance, and I'm hoping to clean up the last of that. And one of the things I wrote in my first book, The Survival Transforming Childhood Trauma, was because I hoped that I could generate revenue from that and use that to retire that debt. So success is a journey and not a destination. And I just want to assure you that if you have the right tools, and by the tools I mean the 8 steps to recognize that we all need help along the way, that we should have or could have a higher power that we can trust and believe in, that in my case, the God of my understanding, which is not very traditional, is my CEO. I work for him and her. I see it as Mother, Father, God, and I don't have a gender to my higher power. And I raised traditionally Irish Catholic, but I just evolved past that. I have no problem with Jesus. I have no problem with Christianity at any level. I embrace it fully. And I also embrace the teachings of Buddhism. I embrace the teachings of Judaism. Many of my partners in business have been Jewish. And I just love all faiths. I see the wisdom in each and every one of them. And I know that each and every faith has behind it the wisdom to teach us how to be truly successful. And to be truly successful, we must have true peace of mind, true prosperity. And true prosperity is a wealth of friends, family, and our community. And so if I could help you in any way, I would like to. And if you would feel inclined, I would ask you to please go to Amazon.com at the moment. My book, Serenity, Aging with Dignity, Living with Grace, is currently published with Post Hill Press and distributed by Simon & Schuster in the United States. But my 2 other books are both newer, and they will be released next year. But in the meantime, I want them up on Amazon because I'm doing a number of reviews and interviews in media, both film and television, in television and radio, and in print. And this month on USA Magazine, there's a 1,800-word article about my book, Aging with Dignity, Living with Grace. And all of those are available on Amazon.com. Or you can go to my website, www.davidbradybooks.com. There is another Professor David W. Brady that I don't know, but coincidentally he has a number of very fine academic books. And I've looked at his site, and it's kind of funny because when you punch in my name, sometimes his site comes up. And I, at some point, hope I have a chance to meet him and talk to him about it. But in the meantime, I really hope you will find some value. These videos are just my way of introducing myself and telling you a bit about myself, and not trying to have a sales pitch per se, but rather a conversation with you that I hope you find interesting and valuable. I want to wish everyone watching this a very happy New Year. And I want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for taking the time to view the video. God bless and kind regards.